You're listening to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast, where we empower women of faith to identify, acknowledge, and accept their doubts and limits and beliefs in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast. It's your girl Felicia Wallace. This is going to be a very short episode, you guys, because I am practicing what I am preaching. So if you follow me on Instagram, which you should be at Slaying Self-Doubt, I posted that it's time for me to refill my cup. And so that is what I'm currently doing. I wanted to hop on to just talk about the importance of refilling your cup, especially when you are doing this self-work of identifying your self-doubt, walking in your purpose. Doing the work and being self-aware is draining. Okay. Not to mention all the other things that we have to do. But when you are really trying to be self-aware and do the things for yourself to be a better person, it takes a lot, because there's a lot of self-reflection and there's a lot of things that you have to do for yourself to be able to make sure that you are in the right mind space. Because once you come to some of these realizations of like things that you may need to alter, things that you may need help with, things that you realize that you are afraid of, once you kind of identify those things, it can be a lot. And when you're doing it by yourself, or even if you're doing it with the help of a coach or with the help of a therapist, after you're done with that time of like an hour with them, you have to find a way to refill yourself back up. And I have noticed that for myself, I don't do that often, right? A lot of what I do is pouring out to other people. And I've always had a difficulty time of pouring back into myself, right? And so this week I've had so many, I would say random. Now I would say during the time I would say random, but they were very much so intentional, right? So I've had different conversations. I commented on somebody's post who was talking about wife and mom guilt. I did an interview this week where we were talking about like self-love and what that looks like. I had another conversation with my own coach about taking time to really hold space for myself and celebrate myself. I talked to another client about doing those things, and it wasn't until like, I want to say like Friday, that I was just like, wait a minute, sis, what's your cup looking like, right? And we have to be able to know whether or not our cup is empty. And we are responsible for refilling that cup. Now, can other people be a part of that? Like, some of refilling my cup is being around my family, right? You all know I have cousins and sisters I have a sister and a sister cousin. We're like sisters. We spend time together. We've like literally been around each other since probably their birth, because I'm the oldest. But when we get together, it's like my love tank is filled, right? When I spend time with my husband in a very intentional and kind of specific way for us, that is like, okay, this is what we're going to do together, that fills my love tank. If I take time for myself, y'all know I love baths. Take time for myself to take my bath and just kind of unwind. That also fills my love tank. Sometimes it's doing some reading about personal development. It's a couple of different. Sometimes it could be watching my shows. Sometimes it could be just going to sleep. Sometimes it could be cooking, because I enjoy cooking. So there's a couple of different things that if I do it with the intention of refilling my love tank, refilling my cup rather, then I am better for my family, right? And so when I was having these like random conversations, it hit me like, you haven't been doing the things that you need to do, not completely, right? And so sometimes really refilling your cup is taking a break. And a lot of times as an entrepreneur, we are so focused on building that we don't realize that you got to take a break, right? Like, if you want to get biblical, on the seventh day, the Lord took a rest. I mean, God took a rest, right? Like, he legit like, said it's good and I'm chilling. And I think that a lot of times that we don't give ourselves enough grace to be able to just rest and to relax and to enjoy the moment. One of the other things that I was having a conversation about with my coach this week was that I don't necessarily do a very good job of celebrating myself. I'm good at celebrating other people, hyping other people up, bragging on people, all of those things. But for me, it's uncomfortable. For me, I can't do it for myself. And if I'm being honest, it's uncomfortable for other people to celebrate me too. It just feels weird, right? But I don't want to live like that, because I feel like that I am living outside of my situation. I legit know, she worded it very perfectly in saying that you want to experience every moment of this journey and feel like that you're in it. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want. I want to feel like I'm in it. And the times that she asked me, like, when are the times that you feel like that? And I was like, honestly, I feel it when I'm full. Like when I feel like I've done the things that I need to do to take care of me, to fill me up, I feel like I can enjoy everything. Like it's just a reset, right? And so today I really just wanted to encourage you all to find those things that allow you to be able to reset. A lot of times we feel like we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this. No, you don't. And on top of that, you set your have tos. If everything is a have to, then you need to evaluate your list and your priorities, right? Because everything isn't a have to, right? And for me, I realized that I put a lot of things in. I gotta respond to this. I gotta answer this. I gotta make sure I do this. I gotta. And so at what point do I say I have to take care of Felicia? I have to take a break. I need to not answer my phone. I need to go to sleep. I need to take a break off of social media. One of the things that I had just recently started doing was I started using Planoly. And so it's like an automated thingy for your app, for your like post or whatever have you. Right now it only does it to 2 platforms, and I use probably 4, and that's fine, right? But the things that I felt like, I have to make sure that I'm posting on a regular basis so that I'm still staying connected to people. I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not about to, for this next week, I am going to take a break. But I'm not about to be making sure that I'm checking to see this. Like, this is literally me refilling my time, refilling my cup, and then also still finding a way to be connected without being plugged in, right? So the thing about it is I can respond to whatever messages come up in a week's time. It's not going to be the end of the world, but if I truly want to experience the moments that I'm having, I have to be in it and I have to be focused in on it. And so I want to do a better job of doing that, because this work is heavy, whether it's working with other people or even doing it for myself. Having the courage and the bravery to do some self-evaluation and understand that, everything about me ain't perfect, and I have some things that I need to adjust, because I want to be the best person that I can be, and I want to be exactly who God called me to be. I also know that includes rest, and that includes taking care of me. So, like I said, this episode was going to be really quick, but I want you to take care of you, and I want to leave you with this. I am reading this book that I'm going to finish this week. It's called The Big Leap. And in it, there is a portion where the guy is saying that his neighbor says something to him that he's always remembered. And as soon as I read it, I knew it was going to be something that was going to stick with me. And he says, God is not going to ask you, why weren't you Moses? He's going to ask you, why weren't you? Insert your name. And so for me, when I read it, I was like, God's not going to ask you, why weren't you Moses? God's going to ask you, why weren't you Felicia Wallace? And I want to be able to answer that to its full capacity and with, honesty, that I've done everything that I can, including rest, including filling my cup and making sure that I'm whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm doing this work to, have a coach, have a therapist, or I have a therapist and I have a coach, have a health. So all of that's for my mental, right? I have a health coach for my body and my fitness and getting myself together. I, definitely watch church, and I'm affiliated with what church is. So that's my spiritual, and, getting all those things that like rest comes along with that. We are whole beings. We're not like, we're not like, it's not compartmentalized as much as we may want to compartmentalize our lives. We're whole beings. And so some of that, and we're not robots, right? So because we're human and because our bodies need to reset, we have to be intentional about that. So, whatever you decide to do over this next week, whether it is, binge out and watch some TV, go to bed early this week instead of going to bed at midnight, taking a walk, getting back into a different type, a new hobby, or, going back into a hobby. I know the weather's changing in some areas. Whatever it is that you need to do to feel like your whole self, do that. And I'm going to do the same. So until next week, see ya. We end every episode with the serenity prayer, and it goes as follows. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self-Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.